My dad said, "We'll miss your child's birthday, money's tight." I believed him. Then I saw his livestream. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to write something like this on Reddit, but tonight I'm sitting at my kitchen table, staring at the crumpled receipt I photographed earlier, and my hands are still shaking. My 8-year-old son is asleep in the next room after crying himself out, and my heart feels like it's been dragged across broken glass. Maybe I just need to get this out somewhere before I explode. The background. I'm 31, a single mom to my son, Liam. His dad hasn't been in the picture since before he was born, so it's basically just me and him. My parents live about 40 minutes away in a nice suburban neighborhood. Growing up, I always knew my younger sister, Amber, she's 28, was the favorite. I'm not exaggerating, my parents practically worship her. She was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. When she got married, they paid for the entire wedding and gave her and her husband a down payment for their house. When I got pregnant at 23, unmarried and scared, they didn't kick me out or anything, but I could feel the disappointment radiating off them like a bad smell. They were supportive in the bare minimum sense, polite but cold, offering advice but no real help. Over the years, things settled into an uncomfortable routine. They'd invite us to holidays, occasionally take Liam for a weekend, but the difference in how they treated him versus Amber's 2 kids, Ethan, 7, and Sophie, 5, was glaring. Ethan and Sophie got expensive Christmas gifts, bikes, gaming consoles, while Liam got clothes he probably needs. If Amber needed a babysitter, my parents were there in a heartbeat. If I asked for help because Liam was sick and I had a work deadline, there was always some reason they couldn't. I told myself it was just in my head. Maybe they were trying to make up for something with Amber, or maybe I was being too sensitive. But deep down, I knew. The phone call. Liam's 8th birthday was coming up last Saturday. He'd been talking about it for months. He wanted a dinosaur-themed party, nothing huge, just a few friends at a local park, some cupcakes, a scavenger hunt. I work as a medical receptionist, so money is tight, but I'd been slowly saving to make it special. About 2 weeks ago, my dad called. "Honey," he said, sounding almost apologetic. "Your mom and I wanted to let you know we can't make it to Liam's party this year. Money's just really tight right now. Inflation's killing us. You know how it is." My stomach sank. They've never missed one of Liam's birthdays. "Oh," I said. "I get it. Things are rough for everyone." Dad sighed. "We feel terrible. We'll send a little card and gift when we can. Tell Liam we love him, okay?" I forced a smile he couldn't see. "Of course. Thanks for letting me know." When I hung up, I told Liam gently that Grandma and Grandpa couldn't come because things were a little hard for them right now. He nodded, his big brown eyes serious. "It's okay, Mommy," he said. "Maybe next year. He's such a good kid. Too good." The party. Saturday came. The party was small but perfect. Liam's friends showed up with their parents, we had cupcakes, and the scavenger hunt was a hit. But every time I looked at Liam laughing, a tiny part of me ached because my parents weren't there. I kept glancing at my phone, half expecting a call or a video message. Nothing. After the last guest left and Liam was busy playing with his new dinosaur figures, I sat on the couch scrolling aimlessly through Facebook. That's when a live video notification popped up. It was Amber. I clicked out of habit, and froze. The livestream. The screen filled with bright colors and laughter. A massive inflatable bounce house dominated my parents' backyard. Clowns in rainbow wigs twisted balloon animals while kids shrieked with delight. Tables overflowed with gifts wrapped in glittery paper. There were catering trays of food, a cotton candy machine, even a magician performing tricks. Amber's voice chirped from behind the camera. "Say hi to everyone watching. It's Sophie's big day." I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. The date on the video? Saturday. The exact same day as Liam's birthday party. My dad strolled into frame, laughing as he helped Ethan climb into the bounce house. My mom carried a tray of cupcakes shaped like unicorns. At one point, Amber turned the camera toward them and said, "Thanks to Mom and Dad for making this the best party ever. We couldn't have done it without you." I sat there, phone trembling in my hands, as the reality sank in. The party wasn't for Ethan, it was for Sophie, whose birthday is next week. My parents didn't just skip Liam's party. They skipped it to throw a full-blown carnival for my sister's kid. They had told me they couldn't afford to come. Yet here they were, blowing hundreds, maybe thousands, on clowns, inflatables, and catering. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. Instead, I quietly got up and walked to the kitchen, where Liam was sipping juice at the table. "Hey, buddy," I said, keeping my voice light. "Can you help me clean up?" He looked up at me with those big eyes and asked, "Mommy, did Grandma and Grandpa not come because they don't like me?" My heart shattered into a million pieces. I knelt down, hugged him tight, and whispered, "No, sweetheart. They love you. They're just busy." But we both knew it was a lie. The receipt. Later that night, after Liam was asleep, I drove to my parents' neighborhood. I don't even know why, maybe I needed to see it for myself. The party was long over, but the bounce house was still deflating in the yard. A cleaning crew was loading trash bags into a van. On a whim, I walked past the driveway and saw a crumpled piece of paper near the curb. It was a receipt. A bright yellow carbon copy from a party rental company. $1,487. Bounce house, clown package, magician deposit. Paid in full. I took a photo of it with my phone before leaving, my hands trembling with a mixture of rage and heartbreak. When I got home, I opened the photo on my computer, printed it out, and wrote across the top in thick black marker, "Return to sender." I taped it to an envelope addressed to my parents' house. No note. No explanation. The knock at the door. This morning, at exactly 9 a.m., there was a loud knock at my door. Then another. And another. It went on for 20 minutes. I didn't have to look through the peephole to know who it was. "My name." "Open this door right now," my dad shouted. "We need to talk about this." I stood frozen in the hallway, Liam clutching my leg. I didn't move. I didn't say a word. I just waited until the knocking stopped. Eventually, I heard my mom's voice, muffled but frantic. "Please, sweetheart. This isn't what you think." I stayed silent. Finally, the footsteps retreated. My phone buzzed with texts. "Dad, we didn't mean to hurt you." "Mom, please call us. We can explain." "Dad, that was a low blow with the receipt. Let's be adults." I deleted every message. The aftermath. It's been a full day now. They've called at least 20 times. Amber sent a long Facebook message claiming I'm overreacting and that Sophie's party just happened to be the same weekend. She says my parents offered to help but she paid for most of it herself. Right. Because the receipt with my dad's signature says otherwise. Here's the thing, I don't want their money. I don't even care about the party. What kills me is the lie. They looked me in the eye, or in the phone, I guess, and told me they couldn't afford to celebrate my child, while they planned a circus for my sister's kid. And the worst part? Liam knows. Maybe not the details, but he knows he isn't wanted the way Ethan and Sophie are. No child should ever feel that. Where I'm at now, I don't know what to do next. Part of me wants to go no contact completely. Part of me wants to scream at them until they finally admit what they did. Another part of me, the tired, heartbroken single mom part, just wants to curl up and cry. Right now, I'm focusing on Liam. Tonight we built a pillow fort in the living room and watched Jurassic Park. He fell asleep halfway through, smiling. I keep replaying his quiet question in my head. "Mommy, don't they need me?" If you've ever wondered what generational favoritism looks like, it's that sentence. I don't know if my parents will ever understand the damage they've done. But for now, the door stays locked. The receipt stays taped to the fridge, a reminder that my son deserves better than lies. Hi everyone. I didn't expect my first post to blow up the way it did. I wrote it in a haze of anger and heartbreak, just trying to keep my thoughts from eating me alive. I've read every single comment, even the tough ones. And I'm so grateful for the support. Many of you told me to protect my son first, to go no contact, to hold my boundaries. Those words stuck with me when things escalated this week. The morning after. The day after my parents knocked on my door for 20 straight minutes, I woke up to a phone buzzing like a beehive. Missed calls. Voicemails. Texts. Amber even tried to FaceTime me 3 times. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I made pancakes for Liam and turned my phone face down on the counter. He was quiet while we ate, but I could feel him studying me with those serious eyes. Finally he said, "Grandma and Grandpa are mad, aren't they?" I took a deep breath. They're upset because Mommy asked them to be honest. But we're okay. We're safe. He nodded, chewing thoughtfully. Good. I like it when it's just us. That sentence nearly broke me all over again. The drive-by. Around noon, while Liam was building a Lego T-Rex in the living room, I heard a car door slam outside. My heart sank when I peeked through the blinds. My parents' silver SUV was parked across the street. They didn't come to the door this time, they just sat there, my dad behind the wheel, my mom in the passenger seat, both staring at the house. They stayed for almost half an hour. I pretended not to notice, keeping the curtains drawn and the TV on low. When they finally pulled away, I felt both relieved and sick. What kind of grandparents stalk their daughter's house because she called them out on a lie? That evening I blocked their numbers. Not permanently, just a temporary block so Liam and I could breathe. Amber's side of the story. 2 days later, Amber showed up at my workplace. I was finishing paperwork when the receptionist buzzed me to say there was a family visitor in the lobby. I walked out and there she was, perfect hair, perfect makeup, holding a Starbucks cup like she was posing for an ad. "Can we talk?" she said. I wanted to tell her to leave, but we were in a professional setting, so I stepped outside. Amber launched right in. "Mom and Dad are devastated. They didn't mean to hurt you. The party for Sophie was planned months ago, and when Dad said money was tight, he meant for gifts, not for the trip. They love Liam." I crossed my arms. They told me they couldn't afford to come. Not gifts. Not travel. To come. And then they threw $1,000 party on the same day. Do you hear how insane that sounds? She actually had the nerve to roll her eyes. You're twisting it. They felt embarrassed about not buying a big present, so they thought it was easier to skip altogether. That's worse, I said flatly. They lied to a child because they were embarrassed about a gift? And instead of telling the truth, they spent the day bouncing in a castle? Amber's expression hardened. You've always been dramatic. Mom and Dad bend over backwards for you and Liam. I laughed, loud enough that a few patients in the parking lot turned to look. Bend over backwards? You mean like never babysitting, never visiting unless it's a holiday, and telling my son they're broke while paying for your magician? Her face went red. This is why they don't like visiting you. You're impossible. That was it. I opened the door, stepped back inside, and said, "Goodbye, Amber." I let the door close in her face. The email. That night I received an email from my dad with the subject line, "Please don't cut us out." It was long, rambling, and full of half apologies. He claimed they miscommunicated, that they didn't realize how their words would sound, that they never intended to hurt Liam. He said they would love to make it up to him with a special day. For a split second, the little girl inside me wanted to believe him. But then I pictured Liam asking if he wasn't needed, and my resolve hardened. I replied with 3 sentences. Dad. Your actions and your words were clear. Liam deserves honesty and equal treatment. Until you can give both, we need space. My name? I haven't heard back since. The fallout. Amber took the silence as an invitation to escalate. She posted a long Facebook rant about family members who weaponize children to punish loving grandparents. My cousin screenshotted it and sent it to me with a simple, "Yikes." I didn't respond. My aunt, however, apparently lit Amber up in the comments, pointing out that I have never kept Liam away before and that favoritism has been obvious for years. Several relatives liked the comment. Amber deleted the post within hours. Talking to Liam. The hardest part has been explaining all of this to my son without poisoning him against his grandparents. I told him that Grandma and Grandpa made a mistake, and that sometimes grown-ups need time to figure things out. He asked, "Will they ever tell the truth?" "I hope so," I said. He nodded. "If they don't, can we still have parties with dinosaurs?" I smiled. "Always." That night he drew a picture of a big green T-Rex standing next to a tiny stick figure boy. Across the top he wrote, in shaky 8-year-old handwriting, "Me and MOM forever." I taped it next to the receipt on the fridge. Small steps forward. It's been 3 weeks since the original post. My parents haven't shown up at the house again. My dad sent one more email, short this time, saying they respect my decision and hope to see us soon. I haven't replied. Amber hasn't tried to contact me again, though I heard through a cousin that she's furious I'm making them look bad. Meanwhile, something unexpected has happened. People in my own small circle have stepped up. My coworker invited Liam and me to her son's birthday next weekend. My neighbor across the hall brought over cupcakes just because. Liam hasn't mentioned his grandparents once. Reflection. I used to think keeping the peace was the most important thing, that a quiet, strained relationship was better than none at all. But watching my son quietly wonder if he mattered showed me how wrong I was. Silence teaches children that hurtful behavior is acceptable. Boundaries teach them that love should feel safe. Maybe my parents will eventually own what they did. Maybe they won't. Either way, Liam and I are moving forward. It's been almost 3 months since the day my parents knocked on my door and I refused to answer. Life has shifted in ways I didn't expect, some hard, some healing, but for the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm standing on solid ground. The letter. About 2 weeks ago, a plain white envelope showed up in my mailbox. The handwriting on the front stopped me cold. It was my mom's. Inside was a 4-page letter. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't defensive. It was honest. She admitted they had deliberately chosen to attend and fund Sophie's party instead of coming to Liam's. She wrote that they told the "money is tight" story because they were ashamed of the choice and thought it would hurt less if I believed it was financial. She admitted that Amber has always been easier for them and that they fell into a pattern of giving her more attention without ever examining why. The part that broke me was when she said, "I see now that by trying not to disappoint one grandchild, we deeply wounded another. I can't take back the pain we caused, but I want to learn to be a better mother and grandmother, if you'll let me." Reading those words, I cried for a long time. Not because everything was suddenly forgiven, but because it was the first time in years that my mom spoke to me without hiding behind excuses. My response. I didn't call right away. I sat with it for several days, letting the emotions settle. Then I wrote back. "Thank you for telling the truth. I need you to understand that Liam's feelings matter more than appearances. If we try again, it will be slowly, and on my terms. Honesty has to stay at the center, or we can't have contact." I made it clear that any visits would be short, scheduled in advance, and focused on Liam, not on family appearances. I also said that Amber's behavior toward me had to stay completely separate from their relationship with Liam. No triangulation. No guilt trips. I mailed the letter and waited. First small step. Last weekend my parents asked, by email this time, if they could drop off a small gift for Liam. No parties, no surprise visits, just a quick hello. After talking it over with Liam, we agreed to meet at a public park for 30 minutes. They arrived with a modest Lego set and, to my surprise, no theatrics. My dad crouched down and said, "Happy late birthday, buddy. I'm sorry we missed your big day." Liam looked at me first, then nodded and said, "Thank you." That was it. No hugging, no big speeches. Just a quiet, careful start. It wasn't magical. But it was real. And that's all I can handle right now. Amber. Amber, on the other hand, hasn't changed. She sent a few passive-aggressive texts, "Hope you're done punishing mom and dad," all of which I've ignored. My parents didn't bring her up at the park, and I consider that progress. Life at home. Meanwhile, Liam is thriving. He's in a science club now and talks nonstop about volcano experiments. He still mentions dinosaurs every other sentence. When I asked how he felt about seeing Grandma and Grandpa again, he shrugged and said, "It was nice. But we don't need them for parties, right?" "No," I told him. "We never did." That night we built another pillow fort and watched a dinosaur documentary. He fell asleep halfway through, smiling like always. What I've learned. This whole ordeal taught me something I wish I'd learned years ago. Family isn't about DNA. It's about choice. It's about showing up, telling the truth, and making the people you love feel valued. My parents might keep working to rebuild trust, or they might slip back into old habits. That's on them. My job is to protect the safe little world Liam and I have built, a world where love isn't measured in receipts or bounce houses. If my parents can live with honesty and equality, there's room for them. If not, Liam and I will keep choosing peace, even if it means walking away for good. Either way, my son now knows something I had to learn the hard way. Love should never feel like a competition.